What's going on, guys? This is Ani Mana, and welcome to the inauguration of the Next Gen Field of 68 pod. So, what are we going to talk about in this pod? Well, first off, this is a weekly pod I'm with my co-host Mashu Nega, and we'll get with him very shortly.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk about everything grassroots, recruiting, standout performers, just overall evaluations. And this pod is a collaboration between Field of 68 and Athlete.ai. Athlete.ai, if you guys aren't familiar with, is an app that really makes the video life easier, right? For anybody, they can download the app, record, get clips, generate reels, and very fast before you even leave the gym. So Athlete.ai, I think it's a groundbreaking app. I'm excited for the future of it. And we're collabing with Field of 68 on it. So Animana, who is he? I'm director of basketball with Athlete.ai. So maybe my eval on the company is biased, but that's okay. I'm a contributing writer for Ball's Life. I have my hands on a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go through that rap sheet, but I just got my hands on a lot of things, and I'm very excited and blessed. And yeah, that's me. So I'm a segue this to Shu, and Shu's going to tell him about himself.
Appreciate you, Ani. This is gonna be fun, I think. So for me, obviously everybody knows Ani, worldwide Ani. Uh, but obviously for me, right now I'm working with Pro Insight as an analyst, evaluator in this grassroots college space. Kind of a little bit of background history, just immersed in basketball probably about 15 or so years ago. Working with John Lucas, kind of starting there. James Dickey with the Houston staff, and then got on with the University of Houston staff with the GOAT Hall of Famer Kelvin Sampson for those first 7 years. Had an opportunity to work in the G League, so worked in there with the Utah Jazz G League. Got to do a little front office work there. Briefly went by and worked with the Bucks as well. So bounced around a little bit, man. Just kind of your neighborhood gym rat. So that's me. Excited to talk about grassroots in this space that we're in, and yeah, I think let's do it.
Yeah, no, let's do it. So we were both in Kansas City. So there's one player in particular we really want to talk about in these first 5 minutes, and that's Tyron Stokes. He he kind of showed he's the number one player in the class still in 226 when there was some
Yeah.
rumblings and there was some uncertainties, including me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, he shut a lot of people up, and I know that may not be his intentions. When you got a player that caliber, they don't worry about the outside noise as much, and I feel like that's the way with Tyron, but he really showed out. Had 30 and 18 versus Team Durant.
Durant.
He
Yep.
averaged 25, 10, and 4 in the session. I mean, Tyron was incredible. Just a 6'8", strong body, and he looks like he's really, sculpted his body. Like he's improved with his body and frame. That's kind of like a bully power wing. Finishes through contact, embraces it, physical driver. Defended really well in this last session. I thought he could really switch and guard and even guard, positions higher than him. And yeah, like I just think Tyron, just his versatility, his ability to pass too, I think is kind of underrated, especially in the open court and transition. And he just he just dominated. He's like a man child in the high school space, and he really took the throne, or really just kind of secured it more, however you want to say it, for the number one player in the class. Now, I don't think it's just leaps and bounds like better than who I feel like is number two, but I do think right now, you know, in May of 2025, he's the number one player in the 226 class.
Yes, Ani, I agree with you 100%. We were even having rumblings amongst other media people, evaluators, talent acquisition personnel, even some players about who's number one in that class. There's other names, obviously, Brandon McCoy, Christian Collins, Jordan Smith Jr. But if you were there that weekend and left, I think it was like you said, no doubt that Tyron was definitely number one player in that class. When he's on, he's just such a mismatch to handle. And so you're talking again, like you said, 6'7", 6'8", probably about 240-ish, man child, great frame. And it's crazy to say about his frame and his build. He'll likely sculpt and build that further, when he gets into college and into his professional career. But just sort of this bully ball combo forward. Uh, explosive, strong, but Scott he's got enough nimbleness to still maneuver and get to where he needs to get to. I think the part that I actually had to rewatch some film. So I think the part that got me that I was more impressed with than anything else was you touched on it was his passing ability, and on top of that, his handle and his footwork I think have improved tremendously. Um, there's this flow and synergy he has while he's dribbling with his footwork and this synergy to be able to get to his spots, to be able to, pitter patter in his movement, staying on balance, and the balance in the footwork allows him to whether rise with the shot or decide to drive either way. And again, when he's driving, he's a load to handle um, because he's going to go right through you. But again, the handle and the footwork and the passing ability for me, I thought was a leap for him that is advantageous to, I guess, where he continues to grow as a play creator. Likely, probably not your first option, but a play creator nonetheless. Getting to the cup and creating for others. He had some great passes as far as dribble drive into the rim, being able to draw a second defender, kick into the corner, being able to spray the ball around. I think he had about 5 assists, 4 assists a game. Probably could have had closer to 6 a game. Um, Shooting splits were pretty decent. I think it was about 46, 47 from the field, about 37, 38% from three. Didn't shoot that many of them, but that just shows that he knows where his bread is buttered. And again, I think he shot it well from the free throw line, being able to get there often. He got about 43 attempts up in totality, so about a little more than 10 a game. But uh, he was loud in his play, and it showed. And I think he showed everybody why he's number one in that class.
Absolutely. Shooting, you talk about shooting splits. I think shooting's still the swinging skill, right? With players that have like outlier physical gifts and athleticism, the shooting comes along later, right? So I have no concern that that's gonna follow, over the years, and it'll be like that for a few other guys that we're going to talk about today. But yeah, I mean, Tyron's really, really good this weekend. I heard he was pretty good during the live period. But like, shoot, who's an NBA comp that you have for him?
I'm gonna go with Julius Randle right now. They're roughly the same size. I think Julius is probably a little bit taller. But again, sort of that strong bully ball, being able to get to the rim, being a difficult matchup. If he's got smaller guys on him, obviously he can overpower them. If he's got bigs on him, he can be able to use his skill and his speed to get by them and get to the cup. Um, and as Julius, obviously you've probably seen his playoffs in the years past so far, has been a better creator and better passer within his game. And I think that's a part that I was excited about seeing with Tyron this past weekend was his ability to move the ball and create and almost kind of be a hub. And I think he can be there at the next level. I will probably get into that soon as far as where he's a good fit and whatnot. But I think he can be a hub offensively, regardless if that shooting piece isn't quite there yet. Just with his skill set and being able to play out of screens and get downhill and just be able to move the ball unselfishly. But he's tough, man. He's a tough guy. So Julius Randle is my comp right now.
Yeah, I like the Julius Randle comp, and it's kind of like Tyron's the same with Julius in high school. There's not a whole lot of counters, yeah, especially with their drive game, but I think Julius, as we've seen in these playoffs, even though game four was awful, but but he was. I mean, they have a lot of counters to their drive, to Julius' drive now, and I think Tyron is going to get that over time. I also looked at guys like Miles Bridges, especially like when you saw him at
Yeah.
Huntington Prep. Just a really athletic wing, that really just abuses like defenders because he's stronger and more athletic, and he has some bursts getting going north and south. Another one. This is a little bit of a throwback, and he's still in the league. Is Jeff Green, Seattle Sonics? Jeff Green was one
Dang.
of my favorite players. That in that rookie class, obviously that KD and that was Greg Oden and all
Yeah.
them,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Jeff Green, kind of same, really athletic, really love to use their body to carve out space in the paint, tough, physical. I wouldn't say Jeff is like was like a bully, but like he really used his strength, even in the NBA as a rookie, to get the spots and the score. And I thought his jumper, like when I talk about the jumper is going to progress over time, like Miles Bridges' jumper, Jeff Green. We talked about Julius Randle as your comp. So guys like that, I think the jumper comes over time. So yeah, those are my NBA comps. I think he just kind of in that prototype. We'll see over the years what he looks like. As far as schools, I'm really hearing Louisville. I know Kentucky's been on him pretty tough, and there's a few other schools, but I'm hearing Louisville's in the lead on that. There was a point in time during the school season where he may class up. I'm hearing that's not going to happen anymore. But anything can happen. But I'm hearing Louisville's in the lead, and I don't know how comfortable the lead it is, but if I had to pick today, it would be him going to Louisville.
And I think that's a great fit. I think they'll allow him to play his game, allow him to have the ball in his hands and be able to again create probably from the perimeter and move the ball and just be able to kind of play a little more freely as far as this big wing kind of jumbo forward that he is. Obviously he's dangerous in transition, and so there's a lot of guys there that I think they've shown that they can fit into that space for him, and so uh, I'm excited to see where he goes. Regardless, uh, hopefully it's the right fit. I'm sure he'll make that decision, but I think that's a great place for him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think Louisville's a great fit. All right, so we have our first guest in this inauguration, and that is 227 Ryan Hampton. So go check this interview with him. It was fun. Ryan's a really great kid and with the basketball lineage. And so here you go. With us on the first episode of the Next Gen Field of 68 pod, we got 227 Ryan Hampton, 5-star from Dynamic Prep and plays for the Drive Nation 16U squad. Ryan, how you feeling? It should be an honor. Like it's an honor for us to have you, and I hope
Yes,
you feel
sir.
honored to be on this pod.
Oh no, I feel honored. Thank you for having me for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll get to it. Shu, you crack the first question, and we'll just go from
Well,
there.
all right. Well, first off, you got a lineage of some hoopers in your family. So the thing I'm always going to ask is, who's the best baller in the house?
The best ball in the house. Well, obviously, I say me for sure. I think my dad and my brother can't mess with me, so it's definitely me for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely confident about that. Sure.
All right. So first, talk about the first time you beat your dad, and then the first time you beat your brother. Like, what was that? When was that?
Um, First time being my dad, I don't know. I really haven't really played one-on-one against him for real. It's really like been like me and my brother playing ones like a lot. And the last time I beat my brother is like for I'll say a month ago, but he won't admit it though, because like he said I cheated or something, but I definitely beat him before, so he won't admit it. But my dad, I really don't remember. I really haven't really played one-on-one against him, but my brother a month ago for sure. So
Okay, so it was recent. It was
yeah,
recent.
recent. Yeah. Like after we work out, after just play ones and then, very competitive and I think go to like 11. It'd be like 11, a good game, 11-10. I beat him, but he say like I did some cheating stuff, but I really didn't. I really beat him for real, for real. So, but yeah, that's really what
Well,
it is.
Shu talks about your basketball lineage, right? Your dad played at SMU, your brother was drafted in the NBA. What's some lessons that really like held on to you that they taught you throughout your basketball journey?
Man, just really working hard every day. Stay in the lab. Just be, work hard at everything you do. Really, it's not going to be given to you. So just really stay in the gym and just keep your head up, keep being humble, and just keep believing in God and just keep working. Really, that's really it. They did, and then yeah, and then the lessons they teach me is just you know NBA is long ways to go. And obviously it's like 3 years to go for real, for real. So just keep working, stay in the lab.
How do you stay humble in the process? Every time you play a game, you got videographers, flood on the baseline. You have someone to interview you, like me. How do you just stay humble in the process, knowing you're getting attention every time you play, really every day?
Yeah, just trusting my work every game I play. I go into just trusting my work and just not really paying attention to all the cameras and stuff. Just going out there, keep my head down, and just going to work on the court.
That's dope. That's dope. So, um, this year you started playing with Dynamic Prep, and I think out the gate, obviously there was a little bit of struggle, but I think it was just kind of new parts coming together. You guys got a couple of guys who went off, finished this year, or are off to go play at SMU in different places across the country. So, talk about the season. I think it was a little rough stretch in the beginning, but obviously something clicked. What was that clicked for you guys? And then obviously playing well all the way through the end.
Really, what clicked for us is just the practices for sure. We Coach Jermaine really just worked us in practice, and the discipline in us was just on point. Just going into Chipotle, actually the Nike Invitational to get in Chipotle, I think we locked in on that, and just our team effort was amazing. I think we played great as a team, and me learning as a sophomore, just coming off the bench, coming off the bench, the seniors that were starting, just playing hard and just giving it my all for the seniors because obviously it's their last season. So I think it clicked for us, like going to that Nike Invitational to get in Chipotle. Then when we had made a run Chipotle, we felt like nobody could stop us, and so and we fell short, but don't worry, we'll be back next year. So.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Y'all
yeah.
batted some pieces. Y'all batted some pieces. And y'all went in as a 10th seed, right? Y'all like the very last.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we came in, that's a 10 seed playing game, and went all the way to the championship. And, it was a great run. And we expected it. We expected it because, we worked too hard. And I think we got, it was a great experience for me because, being on ESPN and just Chipotle Nationals was just a great environment. I think we did well with that for sure.
What would you say with some of those older guys and being a vet? Because again, it seems like you've had the blessing of being surrounded by a lot of great pieces, players, guys who played. Like you're talking about your family. You're talking about Dynamic Prep. You got Jermaine O'Neal. You got some of the older guys, Jaden Toombs, J.O. Jr. What have you taken specifically? And I guess first, what is best advice J.O.'s probably giving you? And then what have you taken from the older guys that are just going off to college? What have you learned from them that you can kind of translate to the next season?
Yeah, with Coach Jermaine, just like he says, like he's gonna get on you if you're not doing the right things. Like he really wants you to succeed for sure, and he gets on you, but not just to get on you, just to like he hates you. He loves you, and he loves every kid on the team. And learning from Jo Jr. and Jaden Toombs, it was a great experience playing with them against them actually in practice because it used to be hard times to practice playing against them because they're older, stronger, and stuff. But it helped me a lot, and I had some good moments. And it was some competitive moments. Kind of got into like physical altercations a little bit, but I think it was just the fun of it. And it was a great year playing with them, and those are my brothers for life. So I love them to death. So.
Perfect, perfect. Let's go with your recruitment. I know you're 227. You still have two more high school seasons. Uh, what schools have been hitting you up? I know I kind of mentioned that in another interview we did in April, but yeah, just go about how your recruitment is going and what's your thoughts so far?
My recruitment is going good. I just recently got offers from Indiana and Memphis. Those were the two recently offers I got. Obviously, my recruitment really goes through my dad. Just goes through my dad, and he tells me, just not pay attention to that right now. Just keep playing, and then when it's the time that make your decisions, we'll look into it. But I think it's been going good. A lot of colleges have been hitting me up, but just I think June 15th is when they finally talk to you, right? June
Right.
15th. Yeah, so
Yep, yep.
hopefully we'll see about that. So yeah, just really it goes through my dad, and whenever somebody reaches out to me, my dad tells me, and then we just go look through it. That's really it.
Okay. So going through, obviously the summer's about to begin. You got your July stuff going on, coming up in a little bit more than a month. What are you looking to accomplish by the end of the summer? You've got some goals, some things you like to do. Like, what are those things that you said you had a great summer?
Really just winning Peace Jam, really. That's the main goal for sure. Winning Peace Jam and just, I'm in the gym. Like I gotta get in the gym a lot in June to, be ready for that. And just making a run with my cousin Marcus Spears. That's been our goal since the season started. Actually when I came to Dynamics. So we just said like, let's win Peace and let's win Peace Jam and just going into it and just, just having some good games going into session four and then Peace Gym and then win it all for sure.
Yeah, I got kind of like an interesting question for you. So, who is the hardest player you've had to guard or just go against in your class?
Hard to guard in my class. Really, I would say Marcus. Really, like I played against him in practice like every single day. So I'll say Marcus really because we played against one on one against each other like every day after practice. It was yeah. I'll say Marcus because he's physical, 6'8", 6'9", very athletic, can shoot it. So he got the tools for sure. So I'll say Marcus.
And Marcus, like his motor doesn't stop either. Like I've
Oh
been,
yeah,
Facts.
he's all
Facts.
over the place. He'll go from one end to another, just falling around, and that's what he does. His motor does not stop, and I love it. That's my brother.
That's dope. So, all right, couple of quick hitters. Best player you ever seen play?
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving.
Ooh, okay. Start, bench, cut. Anthony Edwards, Shea, or Luca?
Hmm. Ah. Okay, I gotta start Shea, bench Anthony Edwards, and cut Luca. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
You
I,
living in
I think
Dallas
explain that.
to go on
Explain
that.
that. I want to hear why on that. I want to hear why on that.
I think Shea just been having an unbelievable season. I think nobody could stop him this year. And then like I love Anthony Edwards too. Like his physicality, his mentality is good. And Luca, he had a couple of slow stretches going into the Lakers. So I say I cut him, but Luca's obviously a great player too, top 10 in the league. But Shea, you just can't stop, bro. Like his mid range, like he just he moves different and like he gets to his bucket different and he just a known scorer. Like he's tough for sure. So
So
I'll
you
say,
don't like when they be calling him a foul merchant?
for real, he a foul merchant, but like he really not because like just stop fouling for real. Like he
Right.
he like he gonna get to his bucket either way. So if you foul him, he gonna get to the line. So for real, foul merchant, that's all right, but he's still getting buckets either way. So
That's a bad. That's a bad. All right, I got to know. I'm trying to know Ryan off the court. You hoop all day, you play all day, you work out all day. What's Ryan getting into on an off day that ain't got nothing to do with basketball?
man, probably just hanging out with my friends, and then just playing the game against my brother, probably, and just and then obviously going to the ranch for sure with my dad and the fam because like I think going to the ranch is really peaceful for me. Just moving out, like just getting basketball out of my mind, just being peace and just fishing and stuff. So I think going to the ranch for sure, video games and just chilling with my friends.
Fishing. Okay, you good at that? You catch something or what you doing?
And it's like I'm not patient for real. It's like it be taking long to get fish. So like I'm not patient, but like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling really like go crazy today, but I'm just not patient enough. It's crazy.
Yeah, that I tried to fish a couple of times and I'm not patient at all. They say
Yeah,
you
I'm
got
not.
some hours. I can't do it.
I can't do it for real. Nah.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate your time. I know you like we talked about earlier. We know you got a couple more workouts to get into today.
Oh yes,
Uh,
sir.
but
Yeah.
best of luck towards the season. We'll see you at Peach and just hit us anytime.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Appreciate it.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
All right, we're back. Shu, how'd you feel? How'd you feel talking to Ryan?
Man, Ryan's a great kid, man, and I think that's probably the piece I wanted to get out of speaking with him the most is understanding who he is as a kid. Being young, having fun. Obviously, it's all about basketball. That's why we're here on the pod. But at the same time, these are young men growing into who they are. What do they do outside the court? Kind of just checking their temperature on the competitiveness, their family, their background, just getting the overall picture of him. And it was great. Obviously, you can see who he is when he's on the court, see what type of player he is. There's no shortage of information that's on the internet as far as him and his family and their background in that basketball family. And so much love and respect for him hopping on and being our first guest. So appreciate you again, Ryan. And the fam, but it was great. Great talking to him.
Yeah, it's funny. Rod texted me after the interview because Ryan obviously said that he loves to go fishing, and then the text was he's never beat me in basketball, and he had a picture of him with a fish, catching a fish. So I don't think Ryan has outdone his father in fishing either. So Rod is still the GOAT in the household. Is basically what he's telling me. And listen. Hey, I'm all for it. I like that. I like that energy. So, Shu, as we transition to the next topic, let's talk about some 226s that are having a breakout summer, right?
Okay.
And I know we're in Kansas City. There's a few of them that we saw that is really going to implode by the end of July. But just want to kind of get your thoughts on who you think is really breaking out this summer.
I mean, I think there's a few, and so I'm gonna start with a little more under the radar, I guess. Bryson Howard. That's what I'm going to go with. Bryson Howard, pro skills, 226, wing, probably about 6'5". Got a great build. So obviously the son of Josh Howard, NBA player, longtime vet, also a coach now. And so Bryson's been on the radar probably until Phoenix, or up until recently, until the session before. So this past weekend, they went 3-1. I think they had one loss against Team United, about a basket, probably a 3-point game. Bryson averaged just under 24 points, so about 23 points, 7.5 boards. About 3 of those were offensive. Extremely efficient, 58% from the field, 52% from 3 on about 5 attempts. Physically built guard, positionally as far as a big guard and a wing. Extremely efficient again in his touches. There's not a lot of movement, not a lot of wasted movement. He's getting to his spots. He's getting downhill. He sees a gap. He's either taking it as far as driving to the basket, or he's going to take advantage of that space you're giving him to be able to shoot the shot. And so he helps in a multitude of fashions. You don't even have to call. You don't have to call his number for him to affect the game. Bryce is going to give you. He's going to give you rebounds on both ends. Again, like I said, he gives you about 3 offensive rebounds a game, 7.5 total for this past weekend. And he's been doing this before this past weekend. Anytime a guard could come down and rebound, again, maybe I'm a big rebound guy. Anytime a guard could come down and rebound.
That's that U of H. That's that U of H.
Stop. Well, it helps, right? It's winning, right? It's part of winning.
No, it is. It is winning. It is winning.
It's part of winning. So bigs could be mixing it up, and all of a sudden you get the guard to come in and rebound. They got a good chance of spotting the ball, right? in trajectory on where it might go. And so bigs mixing it up, guard come rebound, and they got the ability to grab and go, which is a plus, right? So he'll grab it, get down the court, and then he makes his reads from there. Pitches the ball ahead if that's what's necessary at that time, or kind of maybe drag screen and then gets downhill. But I love him because he makes all the right plays and is extremely efficient and he helps you win. Then you go defensively. There's versatility there. All the perimeter positions, 1 through 3, he can switch. Again, he's strong. He's about 6'5", got long arms, and just has the ability to sit down and guard, slide his feet, stay in front of who he needs to stay in front of. Even if there's a moment where he's got to go down and defend fours and be a little bigger than what his size tells you, he's going to go down and do that. And so Bryson Howard, again, is my guy under the radar. It's kind of breaking out. I got a few more, but I won't steal all of them. So go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, no, you're good, you're good. And Bryson, I do agree with the defensive versatility. I do think sometimes his angles, he's like close out a bad angle or just a little nitpicky things. But I do feel like defensively, he has a chance to be a playmaker, just with his instincts and just his engagement as a team defender. For me, I would say I'm gonna go Under Armour. I'm gonna go Gage Mayfield. Plays for Pro One, about 6'6", 6'7". I think this is someone people need to watch. Very athletic, from Alabama, can put the ball on the floor, makes explosive plays around the rim, rebounds above the rim, defends, switches, tough. He doesn't like play through a lot of contact, but I've seen him play through injury. I've seen him just, get back up and just keep going and going and going. So I just think someone of like his size, his arm length, athleticism, the shooting upside, especially as a standstill shooter. And I think there is upside as a movement and off the dribble guy, especially like attacking the closeout and getting to the pull up. Gage Mayfield to me for Pro One is a breakout candidate. And then also I would say, going Adidas. And look, I am not biased. I got my background is Adidas, Puma. I got Nike right here. I got some Currys right here. Shout out to UA. And I got New Balance. Shout out to Josh Wilson.
Adidas might have to send you something new over there.
Yeah. And then Nina ain't gave me no shoes in a while. I need her to update these. But Arfan Dion, Iowa United. 7 foot, 250 pounds. He's a lefty big man. He's skilled. He has touch. He throws his body around. Just very advanced skill wise for someone his age and his size that we don't see. 247 put him all the way up as the #1 center in the class, and that is a no-brainer. I don't think there's going to be any arguments there. But for someone that was outside the 100 and just really now a no-brainer #1 player, well, #1 center in his position. I mean, player in his position. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking. It's a no-brainer. To me, he's another one that's having a breakout summer, and I think it's going to continue.
Okay, I'm gonna add to that since we added two. I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box with New Balance. So a kid named Caleb Williams, probably about 6'5", point guard. I go combo guard, 6'5" combo guard. Strong built frame, really good both hands. Kind of reminds me of Milos Uzan a little bit as far as being able to play with the ball. Both hands finish either left hand, right hand, off the dribble passes, either corner, manipulate defenses as far as with his pace. There's no high upside physical burst, but he just knows how to use his body and knows how to use his change of pace to get where he wants to get to. And so good pull-up game. Again, a kid that I think will continue to rise and be a sleeper amongst this group, maybe work his way into the top 100 at some point in time if he gets some more eyes on him. But a kid that I really liked and showed out in two instances when I got a chance to see the New Balance circuit. So Caleb Williams, under the radar kid that I think should get a few blips on the radar now.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. I have not gotten to see Caleb yet, but definitely looking to see him, the next month or so. A couple others. I'm looking at guys more outside the top 50, like Ethan Taylor from Mocan, 7 foot, averaged 13, 9, and 2 blocks in this past session, which was an improvement over Arizona, which I think Arizona was like a feeling out process for him with the squad. squad with him on just how to utilize them. And but you saw it in like spurts. And then I felt that in Kansas City, he was playing more, he was being more active, especially as a rim protector and just offensive rebounder. He just takes up a lot of space and he can carve out a lot of space just with his size. So I was really impressed with him. He's top 75 player that I think will have a chance to move up. Carvalho Vaughn from Team Hero, another just
You
six
stole
six.
mine.
My bad.
You good.
Really make shots, athletic, had a big game against it was Vegas League, correct?
Yep.
Uh
Yep.
yeah, I had a really big game. I think 25 and 4, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but just had a really big time performance. I really enjoyed watching him on Friday as well, just because he gets good elevation on the jumper. He knows how to move without the ball. He knows how to attack closeouts, and he's a good decision maker on drive. So Carvalho Vaughn is another one that I feel like is capable of a breakout
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. Team
And it's
hero.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, he is. I think he caught my attention. It might have been at the corner of my eye. It was like a dead ball, or right when a dead ball play happened, and it was a lob play that was thrown to him, and he just caught it and reversed it. And I was like, "Man, who's this kid over here? Looks kind of like a skateboarder, but is a hooper." And then next play, kind of jab, get your guy off me, corner three. And so extremely skilled. I want to see more of him. This is my first weekend seeing him. So I don't have that large of a database to go off of, but I was extremely impressed, and a kid that I definitely want to follow in that 26 class to see where it goes.
Yeah.
So
Before we go into the next segment, I do want to talk about Arafan. I think U of H is in the lead on that one. Pretty sure that they are. So a little recruitment update on a top 20, 25 player in the country. Arafan, U of H is in the lead on that. Some of the other guys will kind of get more of a feel. This isn't really more of a recruitment pod. We'll give a little bit here and there, but did want to share that with you guys. So last and not least, but not least, you, what are we talking about next?
I mean, there's a lot. I think you're going to Pangos
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon, and then I think we'll probably meet up in Colorado Springs to catch the U19 camp.
Yeah.
And then for me also, June is kind of like my college tour. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit, try to get out to SMU, TCU, Baylor, local places, Houston, UT, LSU. So I'll probably use this month to catch up on a lot of the 25s. 25 class that are going in and getting their feet wet with their college programs, and then just checking in on some of the other guys who are who are there hooping, and what these new teams look like in these programs. So that'll be June, and obviously TABC out here in Texas is a huge event that has pretty much all the Texas schools playing. So all the Texas schools will be playing. That might be the 20th. I think June 20th roughly is that time frame. So as far as June goes, that's kind of the makeup for it right now.
Yeah, no, it's Pangos for me, Sunday through Tuesday, June 1st through June 3rd. Then I will do NBA Top 100 camp. I'll be there
Yep,
from the 11th
yep.
through 13th in TABC. But before we close, what are some storylines as we go into the heart of recruiting season? Obviously, June is more so scholastic. You like Section 7 is going to be big. I mean, if we talk about TABC, and there's countless others like Cali Live and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
in July, you got Peace Jam, and you just got all the shoe circuits that have their live periods, even the independent ones, like Recruit Look and NY2LA, all those guys, and OTR out of Atlanta. So,
Mhm.
shoot, what's a storyline for you as we go into, we get into the deepness of like the recruiting?
Man, I would honestly say, what's up the 26s. I don't know if a lot of them have committed. Obviously, they're leaning in certain directions, but as far as the recruitment trail, there's a lot of colleges who are on a lot of these kids, these top half of these kids in this 26 class, and so trying to figure out where they're leaning, what that looks like, who's going to commit early, um, and who are the ones that are going to wait late. But going into the summer, that's who's kind of going to take over. Obviously, we had Tyron this past weekend who showed out, and who else is going to fill up that gap? Who's going to give him a run for his money? Uh, who's the breakout person? Like I feel like there's been a space where there's room for that, And I'm just really excited to see who that is, who's going to move the needle within the next 6, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
For me, it's two things. It's who's going to class up? Obviously, Sebastian Wilkins classed up, going to Duke. Who else in that 26 class? Miranen, obviously,
yeah,
he's been
yeah.
classing up. Tyron's name got brought up. Caden House has been brought up. And why that's important to me, obviously, like we track recruiting, but even when you go down the line for McDonald's All-American, selection and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Guys in that top 10 or borderline top 25 guys that class up, it leaves room like, okay, who's next? Who can potentially take
Mm-hmm.
that spot? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
that's one. I think the second one, and it's like you, I feel that Tyron's number one. I'm pretty comfortable saying Jordan Smith's number two, right?
Yes,
I think
yes.
Jordan Smith is getting right there with him. He's right there. He's getting right there with him. Uh, I feel like from 3 to 15, there are like 25 guys that are
Mm,
in contention to take those. Um, Probably more. I would probably say more 15 to 20 than 25, but
yeah.
I feel like there's five others that are not even like that some of them we even talked about in the pod, like as far as breakout guys that are still outside the 50 that could
Yeah.
take those spots potentially, just depending on how they play, like in Pangos or NBPA camp. So I want to see who's going to separate themselves amongst that. I think one and two, it's kind of clear that they're kind of in a tier of their own in this class right now,
Mm-hmm.
but who's going to challenge them? Who's going to, separate themselves from each other? And I think that's why people kind of say, oh, the 26 class isn't very strong, because when you look at like the 25 class last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it was Darren, AJ,
Incredible.
Cam, that like it was those three. When you look at from three, which you could say is Cam Boozer or Darren or AJ, whoever the hell you want to, it doesn't matter. And we'll talk about that 25 class next week. And you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
like number 13, right? Which is, maybe like a Malik Thomas or Braylon Mullins or Nicholas Kamenia. Like those
yeah,
are really
yeah.
good players, but there's a clear separation, right? 24 class like Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. I know Ace Bailey's kind
Yep.
of getting criticized as far as what his translation like is in
So
the
in Trey.
right, and Trey, right?
Yeah.
Trey Johnson. Then if you look at like 13 in that class, I'm drawing a blank, or like even 15 or even 12, there was a separation, right?
Yeah.
Um, and here in the 226 class, there is not that level of separation from
Yes.
one S3. That could be Christian Collins, that could be Brandon McCoy, that could be
Yep.
Todd Reza, that could be
Caleb Holt. Could be a
Caleb
lot.
Holt. Like I can name 20 people. We can go on.
Yep.
And if you say that's three, and whoever you consider is like number 10 or 11, 12, or 13, or even 15, yeah, you can say they're better, but there's not a real considerable gap. Anthony Thompson. I mean, you can I
Yeah.
was with him in Adidas. There's a lot of guys we can put from three. And I'm like you, I want to see who is going to separate themselves in the pack, not just to be at three, but like who's really going to put themselves in tier one, who's going to really separate themselves from the pack of like 15 right now. So yeah, that's really my storyline. Like, how do you feel about that?
No, I think it's accurate because there isn't a real gap. Again, we were in the gym talking to different people, and everybody's contemplating on who's number one, who's number two, and all this. Like I'm gonna go back a little bit. Jordan Smith, I love Jordan Smith's game, and I love his progression, um, and him being able to shoot it, and how efficient he's been getting, and in that fashion, and he's not taking bad shots, and his level of rise from where he was last year. Because I don't think there was a comp to. I don't think there was a space where you could say last year he can argue for number one at some point in time. But now he's right there at the two spot, right behind Tyron. Obviously, Tyron separated himself. But what what are we doing with the rest? And so there's an open space for these guys to come in and honestly a great weekend can change their trajectory. A kid outside the top 25 could sneak into 10 spots. or whatever it is, just based on a great weekend. And so I'm excited to see again, like I said, who moves the needle and what kids lock in and just see where they go. We got a month or some change till we get to July and see who kind of takes that leap. But it's there for the taking, and so that's where I'm at with big
Yeah,
stories or what's happening.
yeah. I think my final one. I thought I had two. I actually had three. It's just who's going where. Just who's going to
Yeah,
commit in the summer. I mean, it's going to be some top 10 guys, or top 10 caliber guys, that will commit. But I'm interested to see kind of where the dominoes fall, right? Like where Caleb Holt and like Anthony Thompson and Taj Ariza, all those guys, like when do
Mhm.
they, or who's kind of the finalists of those schools? And then you can kind of pinpoint, okay, because obviously we know like scholarships for high school kids are or more limited
Yeah,
in this space now. But seeing kind of how the dominoes fall, I think if we see a couple of top 10 guys commit, top 25 guys commit, how does that change? How does that impact the other guys? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely interested to see who commits the next month or so. Obviously, we saw Elijah Williams, a top 50 player, commit to Baylor,
Baylor. Yep.
uh, son of Monty Williams. So yeah, I'm interested to see who commits in the summer and how that impacts recruiting going forward.
Yeah,
For the
yeah. Do you think anybody goes together? In the past, obviously, there's been kids that they love teaming up and playing with each other. Like, okay, you got Malik and Acuff. I'm sure they obviously had a lot of conversations before and into Arkansas. So I think that'd be the other interesting piece is figuring out uh, whose relationships are deep enough within the amongst themselves as far as this class is, and do they want to go tag team and go join a program somewhere? I think would be another storyline to see. Like you said, if dominoes fall, does that mean if this domino falls and these kids go, or now he's going there and now I'm going the opposite direction? So I'd be
Right.
interested to see that, like you're saying. So
Yeah, I don't know who would be a package though. I gotta do some more insight on that. Obviously, a lot of these players, especially these high level players, have agents, and there's gonna be some level of packaging involved. I would imagine at some point. So I don't have any on top of my head, but I do believe that's going to happen. So
yeah, yeah, same here. It always does.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't change. It ain't changed since we kind of got it since we seen the change in just an NIL space. So
Yeah.
that's it, guys. Animano, Mashu Nega, Next Gen, Field of 68 Pod. We'll be back next week to talk more hoops. And we're gonna talk a lot more, in the next week. This is like the warm-up for us, but like
Yeah.
we not this kind to each other. I'm just telling y'all, like it's not so
we get
y'all,
barbershop talking over here, so this is good. It's good.
yeah.